What's up, you fucking bozos? This is Bloodstain Lane, aka Liu Kang Bicycle. Fight! You bitch, because I didn't like the way she looked when she took off her clothes. And I'm here, fresh off a gourmet 3-course meal. Aura is on some arm-breaking Gino Felino out for justice levels right now.
Hey, you motherfucker! Don't be a bad guy. What are you gonna shoot me for? Don't be a bad guy like that. Be a nice guy, alright?
And we're gonna talk a little boxing today. Saturday night, while you were fucking playing Twisted Naked with your fucking boys and watching Brokeback Mountain for the 14th time like the fruit bags that you are, I was in Madison Square Garden watching a cold-blooded Eastern European Kazakhstani killer by the name of Gennady Triple G Golovkin. And he was facing a very tough Philly fighter by the name of Gabriel Rosado. Now, for those of you that don't know who Triple G is, I mean, it's quite understandable. You know, middleweight fighter, fought most of his career in Germany, made his U.S. debut last year against Proska on HBO, and in that fight, really put on a very violent and dynamic display against one of the top middleweights in the world that ended by knockout in the 5th round, which kind of, made Golovkin get a lot of buzz here in the States and in the boxing world. Before that fight, though, Triple G, just like Edwin Valero, was primarily he had a nice cult following on the internet, where really the only way you could really watch his fights was like on taped, YouTube. On YouTube, you could really watch his fights. After the Proska fight, and now especially after the Rosado fight, that definitely changes now. Okay, Saturday night, Triple G put on a very brutal, meat-grinding performance against Gabriel Rosado. He didn't knock Gabriel Rosado out. He didn't look flashy, but he savagely and violently beat up a notoriously tough guy into a bloody pulp until Rosado's father and trainer decided to end it in the 7th. I mean, if they didn't stop this fight in the 7th round, Gabriel Rosado would have died in that ring. And that's just a testament to how tough Rosado is, but also how much of a violent killer Gennady Golovkin is.
This fight is as dramatic and as one-sided, let me just say, as the first one was against an opponent that's supposed to be rough and tough and has 7 wins in a row. But HBO is banking, I think, on Golovkin looking like $1 million.
This fight definitely catapulted Triple G into the limelight of boxing. It's pretty much now the talk of the town, on the internet, and everybody's talking about Golovkin now, and for good reason. And especially being there live and being in his presence, there is something very, very special about Triple G's aura and just his presence. You notice he's a special fighter. I mean, this guy has a very Fedor Emelianenko, Kasazu type demeanor to him. Very humble, very low-key, almost gentle-like. But once that bell rings, just like Kasazu, just like Fedor Emelianenko, even Edwin Valero, he becomes an assassin, a man that is hell-bent on making sure his opponent will take a very, very long nap. He becomes a predator, very, very relentless. Michael Myers going after Jamie Lee Curtis type relentlessness. Cuts off the ring with the best of them. Anvils in both fucking hands. Walks through punches like really nothing. Defensively, he's not the best fighter in the world, but when you're an offensive sledgehammer carrying juggernaut and you have a good chin, it doesn't really matter. You can get away with it. K2 Promotions is looking to get Triple G 4 fights this year, and they're looking to already line him up in March. Golovkin suffered some bumps and bruises against Rosado, so I don't expect Golovkin to fight a top 10 guy in March. I'm looking at more like maybe somebody like David Lemieux or Brian Vera or even Andy Lee. But hoping to see Triple G fight guys like Sergio Martinez and Chavez Jr. You might not see it because, especially after those last 2 performances, a lot of guys don't want to fight Golovkin. He's a very, very dangerous, violent man. His name is still not, even though he has buzz, it's not really a big name. So it's a very high risk, low reward kind of deal for guys like Sergio Martinez and Chavez Jr. And I really think that K2 should really make 2013 as a groundwork year to make Triple G the next big boxing superstar. He's fighting in Cali. It's not like he's fighting in Russia like Dmitry Parag and all those other guys where you have to chase him down. He's fighting here in the States. Now he's training in the States. And I think that after Rosado, maybe a fight with Andy Lee, maybe a fight with, even Kid Chocolate, and at the end of the year, maybe Daniel Gill. After those fights, and if he wins those fights, you have a legit superstar in boxing again. And like I said, this guy is definitely a special talent and a special fighter. He just has the aura to him. And personally, I would love to see Triple G fight again in New York City. It looks like he found a home here. Being at the Garden, there was a shitload of Kazakhstani, shitload of Russian supporting him, so he definitely puts asses in seats here in New York. So like I said, Triple G Golovkin, the next big fucking monster in the world of boxing. I'm telling you guys, special talent. And for those of you who gravitated towards guys like Fedor Emelianenko, gravitated towards guys like Kasazu, you know what I'm saying? This guy has that kind of aura and presence to him. So I'm sure a lot of you guys will love Gennady Triple G Golovkin. Talk about the other fight of the night, Mikey Garcia versus Orlando Salido for Orlando Salido's WBO featherweight championship. Mikey Garcia is also one of the next big things in boxing. Very, very hyped up fighter. Trains under Robert Garcia, Brandon Rios and those guys. Mikey Garcia is just an excellent boxer. Kind of reminds me of a younger version of Juan Manuel Marquez. Not as polished yet or seasoned, but he has those tools, and he put a beating on Salido, knocking him down 4 times. One thing about Orlando Salido, though, this guy's a fucking zombie, man. Literally, you can't put this motherfucker away for nothing. And the more you beat him up, the stronger and better he gets. And I don't want to take nothing away from Garcia's performance, but I really do felt like being there live, Salido was starting to make a comeback and starting to push Garcia to the fucking brink. And they seen a way out of that fight in the 8th round. They knew they were up with those 4 knockdowns. They seen a way out with the broken nose, and they want, I even think, seeing it personally, Robert Garcia ran to the referee and just to make sure that the fight was going to go to a decision if the fight didn't continue, and they went for it. So I think that, not taking away anything from the massive performance Garcia put on, but he felt the heat from Salido, and I felt like, they took advantage of the rule situation. I would like to see a rematch with that fight. It was definitely a very, very fun fight. Very good fights in Madison Square Garden. Yeah, so that's that. Also, this Saturday, one of my favorite fighters is fighting Lucas Matthysse. This guy won my Man of Steel award on my award ceremony. This guy is just picture a walking piece of steel. This guy you can't hurt him. He doesn't get tired. He's just an absolute destroyer. And he's fighting this Saturday. My opinion, other than Adrian Broner, not even Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner's not even a junior welterweight yet, but he is, in my opinion, the #1 junior welterweight in the world. Yes, better than Danny Garcia. Another news, real quick. Badr Hari got released from prison today. Hopefully, Badr could get his life straightened out. A personal friend of mine. I would personally like to see him get away from Holland, come back over to the States in New York. I thought he had his head on the shoulder training with Nazeem Richardson out in Philly. I feel like he just needs to get away from that environment in Holland and make his way back over to the States and focus on his boxing career, which I think he would be a huge success. Quick in the world of MMA, I'm not going to talk about the UFC too much, but talk about the main event, Vitor Belfort versus Michael Bisping. I actually grew to like Michael Bisping over the years. I think he's a masterful troll. Gets under people's skin, and I kind of respect that about him. But him talk at the weigh-in when he told Vitor Belfort there is no Jesus Christ and was taunting him with that, I'll tell you, that was a big fucking mistake, because you better believe Jesus Christ took over fucking Vitor Belfort's body and hit you with that fucking head kick and proceeded to pound you out. Always bet on Big JC. Bloodstain Lane. Respect the fucking shooter. 187 on you 666s, and I'm out of here. In your eyes.
the light, the heat.